Hey everybody, welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset.
All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertsen. I am here with Dr. Sam Rhee, and we have a very special guest today, a 2022 Granite Games semifinal athlete that is actually occurring a week from, it's next weekend, right?
Yeah, it's
so Joe Pierro. Joe, what is up?
oh man, spontaneous. You know, came to support your journeys in the 35 to 39-year-old division for that last two workouts.
Yeah, that soft division.
Nah, man, revamp. It's giving everybody a restart, you know?
Yeah. Now, we definitely want to thank Joe for coming on. He's a week away, and he really did. He came in to just, give me a little bit of support for my last semifinal workout, but he has a training session, and I just asked him if he can give us 20 to 30 minutes just to talk about his training and what he's prepping for. And I just want to give a little bit of background on Joe without getting, I want the majority of this podcast to be about him and Granite Games. I've known Joe, I want to say, for about 7-8 years now, and I think I can remember vividly. What was your first comp? Was it 908?
First comp. Dude, I've done so many over the years.
I want to say, I think my first memory of you was I think you were 17 years old. Joe, how old are you now?
I'm 25.
Okay, so Joe's pretty young compared to most of the people that we've had on the podcast and people that we coach and everything. He's in that prime division right now.
Right, so he is just to open up with a Granite game, so that's June 3 through 5.
Yeah.
It's in Eagan, Minnesota, in the Viking Lakes venue.
Yep.
And this is the path to the games. He's
Yeah.
in the 18 to 34-year-old division,
Yeah.
top 30. Just to mention to people so they know who he's competing against at the games this year, he's got Chandler Smith, Sam Kwant, Brent Fikowski, Colton Mertens, Marquand Jones, Travis Mayer. These are the people you're going head to head against in a week.
In person too.
In person live.
Yeah. So you go from competing at the Garden State Open as a 17-year-old saying, "This is my first comp ever. I hope I can be like you someday." Compete against them at Hoboken, compete against them at 908 multiple times. And now, I mean, Joe is actually one of my first ever next level athletes back in the day when I started to get into some individual sport coaching. And the dude from there has just shot up, and he's been with a few different coaches in that time, a few different programs. He's been invited to some of the biggest, I would say, would you call the move fast, lift heavy team? That whole tryout, you made a team out there.
That was fun.
So we're trying to pump him up right now. Joe's a big time elite level athlete.
He's the biggest I know personally. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So, Joe, let's get into just, where's your mind at right now being a week away from the Granite Games?
Mind is that we're going live in person. So everything we've been doing has been basically online. Really haven't done any local comps due to obviously everything getting canceled in 2020.
Yep.
And then it's just been things not really coming back and just so timing of the seasons.
Yep.
And just trying to really just stick to like the bigger comps and not peak too often. So we could try to optimize my output and just health for long term in the sport of CrossFit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, let's talk about the two, I would say, pieces of adversity that I know about. Was it the Atlas Games?
It was the Atlas Games.
So the Atlas Games in Montreal that you qualified for
last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
He drove up there, and this is right at the start of the pandemic. And when they got there for the athlete briefing, that's when they found out that they were canceling the comp.
Oh yeah, that was gut wrenching.
That's when you really, in my opinion, that's when you were like, all right, Joe's big time. When you made that and you were gonna go up there and try to like take that thing, and just to have that taken out from you, what was that like?
Just felt feeling getting robbed of experience. Yeah. Just one memory I got is just being in this, just signing in and just seeing Cody Anderson walk by. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little stud, lifts all the weight in the world, and just seeing him, it's this guy. Yeah. This guy knows what's up.
Yeah. And you're about to go be on the same floor as him.
Yeah. And we all sit in briefing, and it's just getting drug out. Nobody's coming out. Then all of a sudden, they walk on over and they just cancel the event right in front of us, and we're just drove 8 hours just for a little scenic route. That's all.
And you stuck with it. Went back to work, right? I remember we were texting about that. You're just like, back to the grind. Next year, this is the 2021. Joe makes the top 10% through the Open. And then he finished technically in the top 125 last year in North America in the quarterfinals. So you were due to make a semifinal. And a video review, which, it sucks that this is a standard because, in my opinion, it doesn't make anything easier. But you simply qualified for semis, but in your video review, your GHD sit-ups, your hands went to the outside of your shoulders instead of over your head.
Literally, what the is the difference between when I first heard that, I was like, who cares if you go side or back?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's about the same, and it's actually probably harder.
You could make a case that it's harder.
Because you're of the momentum.
And you're more extension.
Yeah, that's what the GHD is training here. The hip flexors, the quads, it's not your shoulders.
And solely because of that.
That's why he didn't get to go compete at a semifinal last year.
So I got really hit twice with it, you know?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, when that's a really good sign for you, just maturity-wise, that you hit that adversity and you're just like back to the grind. Yeah. And you have to wait a year to really test yourself again. And
I remember talking to you last year about it right after that happened, and you're like, I'm going to go right back on it. And I was like, it's a whole effing year.
Yeah.
And you did it, which to me just shows your mental toughness to stick with it at this point, because I don't know how many people would have stuck with it at that point.
Yeah, it just became a lifestyle, you know. It's work out, eat, sleep, and repeat. Because with that free time, you know, I used to have a video game addiction, so I replaced that video game addiction with CrossFit and fitness, and then that just turned into obviously optimizing health, diet, and just way more, I just think more beneficial.
Yeah.
Right. Rather than sitting behind a computer screen and not having the opportunity to obviously meet other people in person.
Right.
And being stuck behind a screen. So I wouldn't do it differently. I would definitely keep it the same way. It's just tough going through these experiences over and over and over again. Yeah. And within that, mind you, I had the elbow tear that took me out of Wadapalooza one year, which would have been the first big competition of my life.
Yeah. Individual. Yeah. So I mean, I think, you know, that everyone should just know this, that you doesn't know about Joe. Like, you see him, people always talk about at the gym, like he's happy, he's laughing, he's always chill, but he's been through some stuff that I have seen other athletes turn away from the sport because of. Yep. And I give you a lot of respect for that, dude. I really do.
Appreciate that.
All right, so let's talk about Granite. You're gonna leave when, Joe?
I'm leaving the 1st, so I'm leaving Wednesday. Competition starts on Friday. Leaving first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. on Wednesday, just so I could get acclimated out there.
Very smart. Where are you staying?
We're staying at Airbnb about 10 minutes away.
Okay, so you'll be cooking your own food and stuff.
Yeah. So do you have a plan, like how you're going to live your life for that time when you're out there?
Yeah, I tried putting a plan together just briefly, with obviously committing everything to around the workouts. But I look at the schedule and we start at 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. It's a very short window of time, I feel. You know, just warm up, hit your workout, boom, warm up, hit your workout, you're done. And obviously we're going to be awake all day. I got a couple friends going out there, so I figured, you know, probably just get up early, hang out with them, and just don't do anything too exerting, obviously, but definitely still live life and try to make an experience with everybody that's there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so just do you have any of the, I would say, like appointments or drop-ins, like where are you gonna be working out when you get out there? Just go for a run, stuff like that.
I'm on a bit of a procrastination side with that. Definitely do have to move Wednesday. Yeah, especially being off a flight. Definitely move laterally because the hips are gonna be locked just on the flight going there. So I just was pushing that off a little bit, just trying to get everything else settled. And I just feel like a drop into a gym would just be simple as one phone call.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I'm sure they're going to be ready for it too.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the workouts real quick and your thoughts about them as you're coming into it?
Yeah. The first one we are getting is the reverse Fran.
Oh, no, reverse Fran. So let's talk about that one. It's heavy handstand reverse Fran, 9, 15, 21, barbell thrusters at 115 pounds, and then
yards handstand walk.
So, and the time cap is 6 minutes. So that's a fast one. So talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to run through it right when I get out of here. I'm going to go hit 2 workouts, and that's one of the 2 remaining. Reverse Fran for a reason, right? Fran, you get the work done before it really starts, the pain starts to set in. Here, the only thing is going to be the triceps in my thought, because of the legs are going to be fresh in the handstand. I'm going to basically use big leg drive on the thrusters. That's 63 foot, right? 21 yards at the end. There is a halfway point, so you have to be unbroken halfway. So might use that to my advantage, obviously, just to break it up, because I did see Phil Toon do it on his Instagram. He just posted a quick story.
Is he competing there?
Yeah, he's an absolute stud.
Yep.
Elbows just gave out and just boom, right on his head. So
yeah. Okay. And he's probably one of the front runners of the division, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think he'll definitely qualify.
So when you see a guy like that at that level kind of get to failure, does it alter your approach? Do you see that and kind of take some information in and try to...
Correct, because I know that they're having a full-time job, I know that they're putting that extra time and that extra steps in. And if they're having these issues and this adversity, I'm going to have to take a little bite of humble pie here, take a step back, analyze it, and say, I got to optimize my output.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I got to play my game.
Yep. Good.
Dave is the kind of guy who always does better live than online, I think. What kind of athlete are you, and how are you going to use the live competition to drive you on this?
I would love to come back and answer that, because I was always in person. But being out of competition for 2 years straight, it's almost made me adapt to have to be an online athlete with all the qualifiers, everything being online. Sole thing I can remember is going to Wadapalooza team of 3. I didn't feel 100% there with my paces. I was almost feel like I was training a little bit. I mean, I was team of 3, so when you're up, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like I was holding myself back a little bit and not really, giving that 110% effort, like being scared of failure. But when we're competing, that's the time to test and that time to fail.
Yeah. To kind of like reach that breaking point.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, for those that don't know, this is another kind of curveball, and everyone's got to deal with it. So it's not like a fair or unfair advantage. And keep in mind, the semifinals, they're all exclusive to each other. So how you do compared to people at Mid-Atlantic, it has no relevance. You're just competing against people at Granite. So that's important to know, because a lot of your competing is done on turf.
Correct.
And that for those that have never done that, like, it's not easy to lift barbells, walk on your hands, and do some of the stuff that you would do on a hard gym floor on turf. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's something that should be practiced, or is it like, hey, adjust on the fly, everyone's got to do it?
Definitely something that should be practiced. I did a turf workout, I would say 2 weeks ago with my coach, and I'm talking, it was a 10-minute. I think we were actually 16 minutes. I think I was on the turf for. Feet were done.
Yeah.
Absolutely done.
Just hurting or just on fire?
Yeah, just hurting. I really have flat feet, so I feel every little bit of the sole in the middle of the shoe, and it feels like you're just getting stabbed in the middle. So with you soaking into the turf some more, you really just feel every step that much more.
Okay.
So it's going to be a learning experience out there.
Cool. Awesome.
What's the second event that you're doing after that?
The second event.
Let's just go through them and then we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Next one is Barbell Complex. They have listed 3 attempts for max load.
That is it.
Okay. 3 cleans, 2 front squats, 1 jerk.
Yep.
That's the one that's across all events.
All events.
All competitions.
Yeah.
Have you been tracking the past 2 semifinals to see what weights people are hitting?
I have. I think the MAC that's going on currently as we sit here was a little tapered back. I think there's a lot of heavy hitters coming at the Granite Games.
Yep.
I'm just seeing people throw 335 around. I even seen Anthony Davis put 350.
I mean, he's a guy
complex of training.
Yeah, he's one of the strongest in the sport.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Colton Mertens put 335 up. Yeah, Phil Toon just throwing 305 around is nothing.
Now, you, Joe, in the semifinals, was the strength event, which for you guys was 1 max clean, bench, and overhead squat. In the quarterfinals, wasn't that what your best score?
Correct.
So you are one of the heavy hitters with lifting.
Correct.
Are you viewing this event as something that's like, all right, I got to go for it here?
Definitely. I'm planning. I've been increasing. I did this workout 4 times in the past 2 weeks. Strategically, been increasing my loads over the week, almost like RPE, rated perceived exertion. So not going 100% the first time I did it. So I've been increasing every single time I did it. Ended the first time at 255, ended the second time 275, ended the third time 305, and I just did 315 Friday on the complex. So
wow, that's awesome. And how do you feel like you had some more left?
Yeah, I just got to make sure the glutes are nice and warmed up, so I got a big leg drive out of that jerk. It's going to be all about the jerk.
Yeah, okay.
RPE, rate of perceived exertion. So that's basically how fucking heavy it feels?
Yeah, so just how much if you do have more left in the tank. So if we're going for 10, we're going all out. We're not leaving any reps left in the tank.
I see.
Right, so if we're going to build to around a 7, we're probably going to leave 3 reps left in that tank. So we have more room to improve off of that in the upcoming weeks.
Who's your coach in programming that you're using?
I went off to Sean Neefsey out of Fortitude Fitness.
I met Sean New Year's. Awesome dude.
Yeah.
Smart dude.
And he's programming for you?
He has been programming for the last 4 years. I think right from Next Level I went there.
Yeah. That was 2018, 2017?
2018. We were lining up for Wadapalooza.
Yep.
And I just went more on the very long monostructural and just breaking everything down and to square one and just really running away from basically CrossFit and breaking everything down monostructurally.
Right, yeah. Is he going out there?
He is not.
So are you gonna have any presence out there to like help you out with
Yeah, I got my girlfriend Danny. Actually,
awesome.
The girl that does my body work, Laura's going out there, and then I got 4 other friends heading out there as well.
Okay,
4
good.
to 5.
So some guys like they can watch a heat before you, or just give you some feedback that while you're in the warm up area, you might not get to see yourself, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely be on him saying, give me some constructive criticism because a lot of people want to see the positives and things, but tough love is definitely the way to go.
What do you like about your coach and programming over the past couple of years that has really helped you think?
That perceived exertion is the biggest thing, right? When you're nowhere near competition, you have to work on your quality. You have to prioritize that, because when you do get close to competition time and things start to get a little shaky, and let's say you do start to get tired, where are your good habits at? Where are your bad habits at? Right? If you have good habits and good range of motion in a movement, when you're tired, it should be exactly the same, right? Over the course you develop the volume and stuff. So yeah, it's just quality is everything, far away from comp. And then as we start to get closer to comp, we start taking risks and raising intensity at the same time. So farther away from comp, training sessions are very long because you're developing the volume under lower stress of the body. And as we get closer, there's a lot more stress on the body, but you're in the gym for less time.
So that's what you mean by like, all right, I did this workout 4 times in 2 weeks, but everyone should know like you were not maxing out those 4 sessions.
Correct.
It was just increasing the intensity as you go.
Building good habits, seeing if I'm a power clean, I'm going to squat clean, what's going to benefit me the best.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, what's the next event?
We could talk about Minnesota mashup or speed chipper, which one? Or
let's go speed chipper.
All right, speed chipper is the 120-yard shuttle run, 16 snatches at 175, 36 chest to bar pull-ups, another 160-yard shuttle run, 36 chest to bar pull-ups, 16 snatches at 175, and then another 120-yard shuttle run. Time cap 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's finishable. It really is finishable. I tested it yesterday.
How hard do you have to run on those?
You don't have to kill yourself.
Okay.
You have to be. I would say you just have to be in it.
Okay.
You're running. You're not jogging. You're
so
running.
What's the other movements that are going to dictate?
The other movements are going to dictate coming into the snatch bar. You feel pretty fresh. I took risk here, so I did open up huge in the snatch just to see where I would fail. In the beginning, and just seeing how it would bounce back from that. And it's going to be finishable. It's oddly enough, right? You got a pulling on the snatch, and then you got a pulling on the chest of the bar, but it does feel different. So you almost felt fresh going into both movements.
Okay.
Definitely heart rate control is going to be the biggest thing, and not blowing up and just staring at that chest of the bar and not just taking 5 steps back from the snatch, right? What Dave's great for. Dave stays over that bar and he's right back on it for everything he does.
What do people do on those 16 snatches each time? Go touch and go for X amount? Like, what is that X? I don't know what that would be for an athlete of your caliber.
So I did 9 and 6.
Okay.
I did 9 and 6.
Do you like descending reps? I get this question a lot from athletes. It's, when you know you're going to break something up, let's just say 2 sets like that. Do you like the descending rep scheme instead of just like splitting it down the middle?
I do. So my favorite one is when you see the number 15, 654.
654.
654. Just you get the big chunk out of the way. You said I did 6 first set. I'm coming back in for that modest set. And then I did 6 and 5. Now I got to finish it up.
Yeah.
I got to finish it strong.
Good. Yeah, but for this, you can't go more than 2 sets, I would imagine, but just because of the level of competition here.
So what happened on the way back, it did turn into singles. So I don't know, maybe if I was to dial it back a little bit on the going into it part, I would have a little more energy on the way back.
Here's a question for athlete of your caliber, and because you sound like you've gotten very, in a good way, methodical, like almost like robotic.
Very analytical.
Yeah. And you just never be like that. That's another good sign of maturity for you, and just how much you've grown in the sport is do you account for at all for a spike in adrenaline and capability when you're in the moment? I'll make this mistake sometimes. You know what? Like, I know when I'm in the moment, I'll be able to do this. But when you're training, you do want to see kind of like, can you reach your peak intensity adrenaline when you're training by yourself in prep for a comp, or in the back of your head, do you say, no, I'll probably have this little spike on the day of?
I'll have a spike on the day of. I've been using that a little too much, I think, especially with the workout we'll talk about later, the legless rope climb. When I do say, game day, there's going to be adrenaline.
Yes. Yep.
It's something I say because of going out there. It's amazing what takes over your body.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, Kathleen says it all the time. Like, you wish you could bottle that and sell it.
Right.
It'd be worth a lot of money.
It's just dangerous. It really is. You feel invincible out there. You don't know where your end point is.
It's like that movie Limitless. You take that pill and like you just turn into.
Well, you're going to be in the middle of friggin' Viking Stadium, out on the turf with these athletes. That's crazy.
Yeah, with like tens of thousands of people watch online. And we'll be watching. I'll be on vacation in Florida. I'll be watching.
That rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. So even with the snatches, I don't I'm going to have to really go by feel. I could go in there with a plan, but all plans, they're plans because, they don't always go to plan.
Right.
So
right.
I'm definitely going to, It's a big off of feel. And if you realize on that workout, it's 175. So my also thought is, right, a 45 and a 25 on a bar equals 185. But at these competitions, so they fit more lanes, they use a shorter bar. So there is different it does feel different coming off, from the ground. And
for those that
overhead.
don't know, they're called shorty bars. So basically, like, it's a 45-pound bar, right? Still, or
correct. It's 35-pound bar. 35.
It's a 35-pound bar
with the same thickness.
And same thickness, and it's just simply short. So the weights are closer to your hands. So
Very
for
much
some
so.
people that go really wide with the snatch, they have to bring their hands in a lot closer than what they're
Brent
used to.
Fikowski's going, and that's a big dude.
Yeah.
And
long arms.
correct. It almost might be just outside his clean and jerk grip at that point.
Yeah.
That's as funny as that sounds.
Yeah.
So then the next one, Minnesota mashup, 10 wall balls, 50 GHDs, 20 wall balls, 40 dumbbell single arms, overhead squats at 70, 30 wall balls, 30 ring muscle ups, 40 wall balls, 200 double unders, 50 wall balls, 10 dumbbell clean and jerks at 70, time cap 25 minutes.
Wow, I was going to say, that's got to be a long cap.
Finishable.
Holy cow.
Finishable.
That is a nasty. That is a grind.
I think it's a generous cap.
Yeah.
I do.
Really?
I really do.
I need to get the total reps in my head for that. But that is a grind. No matter what, that is a grind.
I want to say I broke it down to work without transitions, so just pure work time. It's around 13 to 15 minutes.
So the transitions, is that key for this?
Transition is going to be everything. Well, in my eyes, the 30 ring muscle ups is everything.
Yeah.
Everything else is fluff to get to that point. Blow your hip flexors out.
How did you do in the quarterfinal workout on the ring muscle ups that were after the GHD?
So this is my situation I got right now is I feel heavy.
Yeah.
I feel heavy right now. I feel heavy, but
strong.
Yeah, but I feel heavy but strong. So it's going to be a fair balance, and that's another thing where I say hope adrenaline comes in.
Because in the quarterfinal, you had to do 10 ring muscle ups at a time, right? After 30 GHDs.
Correct.
So this is a more GHDs, and 30 ring muscle ups is no joke. Like, that alone for a lot of people is a workout. Do you what's your plan on the muscle ups on that one? Because I think, do you agree that's where it's going to mostly come down to?
100%.
Yeah.
Muscle up sets, obviously how many times you break it up, because when you come down, it's not a quick pick back up.
Right.
Definitely.
What's your plan?
Plan is to open on the bigger side, but play on the side of caution. So 2 reps before failure, I'll say mid workout, I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna be conservative. I'm gonna hit it right after this. My goal is to do 8-6. Right. It's gonna take me to 14, and then we're gonna do 5-5. That'll take me to 26, and hopefully 4.
Yeah. Are you one of those guys, like, mid-workout, you're looking around where other guys are? Or you just try to stay in your lane?
I'm definitely gonna work on that.
Yeah.
I haven't had much individual experience to really work on that,
Yeah.
and I just thinking back in the past, it has been a blur.
Yeah.
To understanding that, just getting caught in a moment, but
Yep.
I think the awareness is going to be very key here.
Yeah, your body awareness, yeah.
Do you practice your transitions for something like this to make sure that you can get off the GHD, get to the wall ball, get to the single arm overhead squat dumbbell, get to the wall ball? Like, how do you know how to flow with those sort of things?
Yeah, so a big thing I like to do is play it by breaths between each set. So rather than, saying, okay, I'm going to take a 10-second break, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to take 3 breaths in between each break.
Okay.
And as per feel, you're not going to go to failure before those ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
And even after those ring muscle ups, right, you're going to play that fine line, but then you're going right back to wall balls, and you still got 200 double unders. So
Wait, the workout, I didn't catch that. The workout ends with 200 dubs?
No, 200 double unders, 50 wall balls, and then 10 dumbbell clean and jerks.
with 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Normal jump rope?
Normal jump rope.
Do you get to bring your own?
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to definitely bring a spare rope too, God forbid.
That's right. Yeah, that
Do you know when that is, what date it is?
That is either the first one, day 3, or the second one on day 2.
Okay. All right, so you're going to still have some decent amount of work to do after that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that one's going to be tough. All right, what's next?
endure the sled, 50-yard sled push, 30 lane facing burpees, 50-yard sled push, 1,000-meter run, 100 cal echo bike, 1,000-meter run, 50-yard sled drag, 30 lane facing burpees, 50-yard sled drag, time cap 27
Man, I
minutes.
feel like they're having you guys do a lot more volume
effing
than the
you
other.
over.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, so what the bumpers of CrossFit, what the rumors are out there is you're going to have 2 long workouts. That was the bumpers. CrossFit said you're going to have 2 long workouts. They obviously gave you the strength, being the complex. They gave you the legless rope climb one. There's 2 longer tests that have to be tested.
Okay. But even like just total volume, I feel like you guys are doing more than others. Not that it matters that much, but we can even if we have time, we can talk about that at the end. But what are your thoughts on that workout?
Hit that one yesterday. Definitely Tumbling. It really is. That workout should be changed from endure the sled to it's a trap, because as soon as we don't know the sled weight. I did put 180 pounds on the sled.
Turf. Did you practice on turf?
I did not. I practiced on a wet ground because it was raining outside yesterday. So I just deal with the circumstances I was given. And my heart rate came up and it did not want to come back down. So I would definitely going to have to.
Where did you feel it the most?
The beginning, just feeling so fresh on that first 50 yards, then going right into 30 bar hopping burpees. I just felt my heart rate was just elevated. And the second sled just got a little too sloppy too early.
That
and
might have been the surface you were on, though. I mean, I think that if your sled is on turf, it won't be that bad.
Yeah, it should. You should have more.
What was harder, the bike or the run?
The run. The bike, I was just hovering around 65 RPM, just being honest.
The Rogue Echo bike, right?
Yeah. Rogue Echo bike.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you a good runner? Do you like running?
I used to like running until I became 205 pounds, and now every step I take, I feel like I'm lifting a big load every time I take a step.
Well, that's a Hinshaw thing. Hinshaw says every elite athlete he knows, running is a huge part of their program, because when you're supporting your structure, your body weight, that's real conditioning. Compared to rowing and biking where you're sitting on something. So it's just something to keep in mind. Because running is a different animal, and we've talked about it in the past a few times. There's some give and take with running. If the form isn't great, if the technique isn't great, it can really kind of, prohibit some progress within other areas. If, joint issues and all that.
Oh, that's why CrossFitters don't like running in general.
Yeah.
And then the last event is the same common event, 2014 regional event number 5, 10 rounds for time, 1 legless rope climb, and then 170-foot run.
If anybody from Granite Games is watching this, come on, man. We got to end with that thing. Oh, it's going to be war out there. We're threading needles with this workout.
What you mean by that? So that's one of the events that every semifinal has across the world. And most of them, if not all of them, it was on day one.
Day one or first thing day 2.
Get it out of the way.
And that test is 110% about just the forearm grip, bicep capacity, and none of the other sanctional semifinals had to do that workout first, or I had to do that workout in the last day. So that's a clear disadvantage. Again, you're only competing against people at Granite, but that's rough that they put that on the last day for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, adrenaline's going to take over, hopefully, and everything will be all good and dandy at the end of the day. But definitely ending with a sprint, right? It always makes it interesting to have that sliding finish. I've seen a lot of sliding finishes at the Syndicate and the MAC, and it's just making for good finishes.
What do you practice technique-wise on a legless rope climb that you focus on?
Clearly, legless means upper body movement only. So everything with your legs and a kip you could give. You want to take. So just going to work on flailing those legs in an organized fashion and just really trying to minimize each hand being on the rope. So obviously big bites and just
fast
be
hands.
Consistent.
Yeah, fast hands. Yeah. What's the contingency what's the weather looking? Because Granite Games is outdoor.
Is it? I thought it was indoor. No, it's outdoor.
Minnesota Viking Stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What's the contingency there if it rains?
They briefly read the packet that was sent out. It said they were going to work around weathering, so definitely could see some things changing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge. Again, everyone's on the same playing field. You're not competing against you're not competing against people that already did it or at a different semifinal. But I wonder if that event, especially if it rains, what do you do? You could put a tarp over the ropes. I guess you technically you could.
You can. You
it wouldn't be that hard with the rig and everything. Now that event in particular, right? It's 10 rounds.
10 rounds.
Okay. The workout, it's not hard for 4 or 5 rounds for anybody. And, after every legless rope climb, you have to run basically to the other side of the field and back. And then you go do your legless again. Will you start running hard right away to just get a little bit of a head start? And then once you feel the grip going, that's when you just start to, on purpose, start running a little bit slower?
Yeah, if I knowing I test this workout 3 times already, knowing where I'm at, I'm going to have to play my own game here. Obviously, that first run's going to be very fun running down the field with everybody, but then I think I'm going to play my own game from there, optimize my performance, try to hang with, obviously, the big dogs, but if I can't, I'm going to try to get the best time I can get for that.
Okay.
I think a lot of this seems to also be recovery in between because there's so much volume. So how do you focus on your recovery and what you can do to come back every day and still, hit it hard?
I'm definitely going to take the best protocol I can after each workout, just get on a bike, just move a little bit. And the biggest thing, right, recovery, obviously all assistance with whoever I'm going to have, the body work. I get some body work in between each movement, nothing too deep. Just make sure I stay stretched. I'm going to stay stretched out the whole weekend. And the biggest thing I find is after the workouts is going back and hitting like a 10 just active cardio warm up before the event, just to let the blood flow through the muscles. And just before that 10-minute piece and after that 10-minute, just nice, easy bike, it's crazy how much better you actually feel.
Do you eat Snickers and all that sort of stuff too?
I do.
Oh,
I
you do?
Yeah, just the goal is to give myself diabetes throughout the weekend. That is the goal. I'm not even kidding. I mean, it's not the healthiest style trying to compete. Definitely when I do step out of the competitive CrossFit mindset, I'm definitely going to utilize dropping sugar intake, but the goal is to be dump as much sugar in the muscles as possible throughout the weekend and try to gain weight just so I know I'm recovered and everything's, all energy stores are there.
Okay. Cool. So, I mean, lastly, let's just say, any thoughts on the fact that do you like how CrossFit has transitioned the sport this year in terms of, you basically somewhat randomly got placed into semifinals. I know they tried to spread out the town a little bit. In my opinion, the Granite Games is the most talented, but that's just, that who cares what Dave says, right? But do you look at other sanctionals and the programming, semifinals and the programming? Are there any thoughts in terms of like, all right, there needs to be a little bit more cohesion, or do you like the individuality of the events and who you're seated up against?
Well, we had the linear for regionals, right? Regionals had the linear programming.
Right.
I think that worked very well. Mm-hmm.
Because basically what that does is it gets the same kind of athlete to the games.
Correct.
Right? Where, let's say the top 5 from Mid-Atlantic, if 3 of those people are at Granite, because the programming is so different, maybe they don't make it. Is that the way it really should be?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a question over time we figure out. The only thing that I would see, right, is them having a swim event at Granite Games, right? I hear there's a lake close by, and I know that I would be basically heartbroken if there's a swim, because I try working on my swimming, but just something in me doesn't seem to click with it.
Are you saying there's still a possibility?
There is no possibility
not
now,
this year.
but
Okay,
when they were announcing it, there was. Because there was a sanctional overseas that did have...
South Africa, yep.
They did have swimming in theirs this year. So if I was put to that, I would be...
that's a huge thing.
Setback. Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
They've discussed this, like Chase Ingram, and there was another podcast, and they said it works for the South Africans, but you can't have swimming in a semifinal in North America and with the other ones not, because that's not fair.
Right. Yeah. A lot of us don't live near water. You live in the Northeast. You're not, some of these guys in Florida, they swim all year round.
It's not an equal test.
Yeah. I guess that comes with bumpers for CrossFit, right? The big thing I've been hearing is bumpers. What are the bumpers? What does CrossFit tell these semifinals?
Yeah.
Right. I used the wrong word before sectionals, but
yeah,
what does CrossFit have to do to get the right people to the games? What do they have to give the events freedom versus having them be controlled so they are getting the right people there?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you talked to other competitors yet at the Granite Games or no?
I have not. I have not spoke to one person from that's competing at the Granite Games.
I don't think anyone ever does, right? Because it's just like you guys are competing against each other. So unless you're really friends to begin with.
I mean, you've been friendly with Chandler before, right?
Yeah, Chandler's a good dude.
Yeah.
Spoke to him a lot of Palooza too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys are you're also on the more secretive side with what you do training wise, right? You don't put a lot of your stuff out there.
Yeah, I've been training alone for so long that it's nice to put myself out there sometimes just to see where I stack up.
Right.
And understanding that now's the time, if I was around a training camp or within reach of other athletes, even if they were going to the Granite Games, I would want to capitalize on that.
Right.
Like I'm trying to get people to go through these workouts with me, because now it's the training wheels have to start to come off and we gotta send it.
Yeah.
So I don't it doesn't matter the fitness level of the person I'm going with. I want to scale it to the point for them.
Yeah.
If they need to be scaled, that we're going to finish at the same time and they're going to give me that push
Real
or even
feedback.
be slightly ahead.
Yeah, and give you real feedback too. Cool.
It's a really amazing how much CrossFit, the landscape has changed over the last 3 years, but every year you just keep trucking. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What else is it about you that, despite all the changes in the organization in terms of how they compete, all of the setbacks, like, what is your ultimate goal in terms of what you can do in CrossFit?
It's just really to optimize the output, knowing I have a full-time job and I'm just trying to be in that 0.0001%, that I just want to see what the body's capable of. I want to see if it's doable because, obviously everybody has those doubts over time. How many people are juicing? How many people you can't be recovering? You can't be performing at this level and doing this and that. And it's just like, I want to see if it's possible. I just want to see if it's possible, what the body's capable of it. I do not know where that ends.
Yeah.
And as long as I stay healthy, I'm going to be competitive. So if I'm not competitive in CrossFit, I'm going to find somewhere else to be competitive, personally, honest.
Not video games, though.
No, definitely not. I was going nowhere, man. I was just, you just wait. You just look at a screen for 16 hours, and then you close your eyes, you wake up, you repeat, and the world's just going in circles, and I'm just throwing my life down the drain.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's been awesome watching your ascent, just like from our seat. It's been watching. We've always been tracking you, talk about you guys all the time. And, you've grown into a young man now, dude. And like a lot of respect for you and everything you've accomplished. And I know you're totally like in battle mode now. Like you're going to our version of war, not to disrespect it, but, and I hope that you can look back on it when it's all over, not right now, and just be proud of yourself because you deserve it.
Yeah, I'm very hard on myself. So no matter what I do out there, it's not going to be enough because I know there's going to be points left out on the board.
That's okay.
Just throughout my experience, though, starting with class program, going over the next level with you, going over to my coach, just the growth throughout the sport, and just seeing you keep trucking as well with your changes too, and obviously having a baby and is still going for it.
Yep.
It's just you're leading by example quite a bit for me, and I feed off you. I always see you on Instagram, even if we don't reach out.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. And we'll be watching, man. Best of luck to you. Say anything else?
No, I'm just be cheering for Joe all the way, man.
Yeah, let's get it, Sam. Let's get it.
All right.
Granite Games, here we come.
Let's go.
Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the HERDFIT podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.